WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Hey there, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We have rain moving in. We've had a slow-moving system stalled out, and now some of that rain spreading in across our area. Let's get to our Easter weekend First Alert weather headlines, and what we do expect is that rain to become steady during the overnight hours, and that's going to stick around through the early morning. Some good sleeping weather tonight. A few rumbles out there, no severe weather. It's going to turn colder. We're talking 40s. Already seeing some 40s, in fact, on the map. I was talking with Lauren. The way we're thinking here looks like this is going to be tapering off along west of I-65 1 to 3 o'clock tomorrow, east of I-65 after 2 p.m. I've had a lot of folks reaching out. Wes, when is this rain going to move out? We have a big Easter egg hunt planned. Well, afternoon, but just note that after the rain ends, everything's still going to be kind of damp out there after all that rain for the start of the day, and it's going to be colder, but we will have some sunshine really drying things out on Easter Sunday. Some 40s start off there for Sunday morning. But this is what the radar looks like. It's kind of half and half right now. To the west, you got the rain. Areas further east, most locations still not much wet weather, and it's interesting, even though we've had rain for most of the week in parts of our area, other parts of our area, we've hardly seen a drop of rainfall, especially here around places like Weaver and Anniston. Further south, there's one little cell. This is where it's warmer and more unstable. It's south of Rockford. Could get a rumble of thunder, but mostly what we're seeing with all this activity to the west is just rain at the moment. And it's coming down around Greensboro or just north of there around Havana, Tuscaloosa. We are covered up, and more of this rain continuing. And now that wet weather is starting to spread in towards Birmingham. So plan for some wet roads out there. We've got the first Friday happening here in Gadsden, and those showers moving into Etowah County, so that rain also will be moving in. This is some of the latest data that we have, and you can see that rain filling in tonight and continuing to increase. A lot of this wet weather again through early tomorrow morning. Look at 7 a.m. We are covered up, and again could be a few rumbles early in the day. Not really seeing a risk of severe weather out there tomorrow morning, but note this, there's 10 o'clock. Let's work it through the afternoon. Well, the new data, you can see it's just now coming in. All we have there is out to 10 a.m., but I still expect this rain to taper off from west to east. Again, I mentioned areas along west of I-65 1 to 3 o'clock, east of Interstate 65 after 2 o'clock tomorrow. But no problems for Easter Sunday. We'll have sunshine. Next week, we'll talk about when we could see some rainfall. Looks like a system to the south could impact our area later in the week. But we'll have all that for you coming up right here on Weather Extra in the 7-day forecast. And we're going to introduce you to another meteorologist, one of our sister stations in Montgomery. And we're also going to talk about the moose invasion that's been happening. And we'll update you on the Easter forecast and more on the weekend as we continue right here on Weather Extra. Stay with us.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, The WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. A son sent his parents a well-timed text message that may have ended up saving their lives. On Tuesday, he told them to get into the basement of their Lewistown, Illinois home. Just minutes later, an EF3 tornado ripped through the area, destroying their property. Meteorologist Devin Masculi in Peoria has the details.
I sent Dad a text message and said, hey, I think this is probably going to be pretty bad. You probably ought to be heading to the basement sometime in the next 10 minutes or so.
And good thing he did, because his father said 5 minutes later the storm was on top of their home on Milton Road in Lewistown. The storm destroyed their home and much more on their property, spreading it as far as the eye can see.
Two pretty good-sized machine sheds on the other side of the road that are both completely gone, and their fifth wheel camper was in one of them, and it's over here back behind us now, and it just kind of rolled it out across the field.
Mike McCormick's parents hid in the basement. Debris piled in the staircase, and the cars in the garage almost blocked the entrance too.
Yeah, the car and the truck were in the garage, and both of them moved a little bit. The car actually moved just barely into the house, so where the stairway access is to go to the basement, if it had gone another few feet, it would have pretty much been over that hole.
This isn't their first time experiencing a tornado. They saw one before in 1995.
It lifted the roof on the house, and one of the garage walls fell out, and a big deal to put it back. And yeah, this one, of course, a lot more damage than the one before. That was easily fixed, and this one, I think we're probably just going to end up taking this thing off and either rebuilding here or doing something different.
Regardless of the damage, they are in good spirits and thankful for the community support.
We've had a lot of people stopping by this morning to offer help, and a lot of farmers, offering equipment and different things. So, that's what typically happens around here is everybody kind of starts coming together, and you pool resources and whatever you need to do, and eventually you kind of get past all the, it's just kind of a pain, but you get by it.
That's why we always stress, be the hero. That's what us here at the First Alert Weather Team and with our partners at the National Weather Service always try to encourage. If you have friends or family, know there's severe weather in their area, give them the heads up, be the hero, and let them know. But in the meantime, back here at home, it's time for Mets Around the World. And this week, meteorologist Tania Michelle took a quick trip down I-65 to meet our colleague, meteorologist Amanda Curran, who works at our sister station, WSFA, in Montgomery.
Hey everyone, and welcome to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Tania Michelle, and today I'm joined with a special and beautiful guest. Her name is Amanda Curran. Amanda, can you tell us where you're at right now?
Yeah, so I'm in the back weather office here at WSFA 12 News. We are the sister station at WBRC, located in Montgomery, Alabama. We're right on historic Dexter Avenue, so within a block or two from this window right here is the capital of the whole entire state of Alabama, which is really cool. And right across the street from us is Martin Luther King's church that he actually preached at several decades ago. So very historic street, and we love it down here in the capital city. And we love being connected with our sister station up in Birmingham. We got to keep the connection going.
Always, you know it. All right, Amanda, so we want to hear about your journey.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have this interest in weather at a very young age. We want to know where yours started. When did you become interested?
There was never really like a start moment. I tell this story that when I was a freshman in college, you take like meteorology 101. Everybody said, oh, this blizzard or this severe weather event or this tropical system really inspired me, or maybe a fear for weather. Mine was just, I was always interested in clouds. I would just look up at the sky and be like, what's that? Why is that one shaped differently than that? Can I touch it? Like, where is that? And I just remember asking my mom what clouds were made of, and she lied. I found out soon after. She was like, cauliflower and cotton candy, and I was like, that seems suspicious. So it just kind of always sparked an interest in what was going on up in the sky. And so I just was really always interested in science. Either you're really good at math, you're really bad at math. I just always really excelled at math and really enjoyed it. And it was just always a hobby. It's just, there was never really like a defining start point. It just always was. And then once I got to high school, we had to make a pamphlet on what we could do for a career. And I remember asking my computer science teacher, Mr. McDonough, I was just like, what does somebody who likes weather do? And he's like, that's a meteorologist. And so I did all the research and found out, oh, snap, this is like something I could do and make money, and it would be a career. And it just kind of blossomed very naturally, all because I was curious on what was going up in the sky. And I always like to tell the story about the first time I went on an airplane. I was 10. We went to Disney, and I got violently ill the night before. And my parents are like, oh, she's sick. And I was so hyped. I'm like, I'm going to be on a plane. I'm going to be in the sky, and I'm going to be in the clouds. This is like, I specifically remember the feeling to the point where I made myself sick. So that was an amazing journey. Love still going on planes.
Wait, so did you go on the plane though?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I threw up the night before. I threw up in the airport terminal. I threw up when we landed. I'm 10. And when I tell you that I was so jazzed, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. But I will say I'm very territorial. If you go on a plane with me, like, do not expect to sit at the window seat. Like, it's just not going to happen. Sorry.
That's my favorite seat too. I guess we can't be airplane buddies.
No, we would have to sit on either side of the aisle so we both get, or maybe if we had a layover, we could switch back and forth. But I have to really like you if I give you the window seat.
I love that. Okay, so tell us about your education. Where did you go to school
Well,
at?
I'm originally from Southern New Hampshire, right outside of Manchester, born and raised there. And I looked at a couple of colleges just in New England in general. I kind of wanted an experience where I was close enough to home where I could come home, but far enough away from home that I didn't feel like home was right on top of me. So there was a school about an hour north of me. That was Plymouth State University, an amazing meteorology program. But I kind of got to the point where I realized I think broadcasting is what I want to do. I clearly enjoy talking to people, and it was kind of a service-based field for me in the sense that my mom's a nurse. She worked at Boston Medical Center my entire kind of adolescence. My father's a retired police officer, so I saw two examples of people serving people, and I was like, I think broadcast meteorology would be the best way for me to use all of my skills that I like, and that old saying, you never work a day in your life if you do what you love. I was like, that just doesn't seem like work to me. So I found this really, really small school in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont called Linden State College at the time. And it was about 2 hours away, so it was the perfect distance. I felt like I was on my own, but if I wanted to come home, I could. They have an amazing television studies program, an amazing atmospheric science program. And it just, it was weird. I stepped on campus, and I'm from a really small town, and it's a very small town that the campus is in. And everybody at Linden especially just says, it's a feeling. You just step on campus and you're like, I know I belong here. And it was the best choice I could have ever made. It was the most amazing 4 years. I got the greatest education, learned from some of the greatest people in the industry. And then it kind of propelled me to where I am today.
So tell us about your career journey. So you graduated college. Where did your career begin?
Here in Montgomery. It's crazy. I tell people this all the time. I'm very fortunate enough to say that I took a job straight out of college here in Montgomery, Alabama, and it will be 9 years in July that I've been here. So I graduated college in May of 2014. I graduated on a Sunday. I flew down here on a Tuesday, and by July 1st, I drove 1,300 miles, my Jeep full of all the stuff I owned, me and my parents. And so it's not very typical for somebody straight out of college to take a job in the industry of television and to stay in their first job for so long. I think that's a real testament of what we do here, not only as WSFA as a TV station, the company that we work for, Gray Media, and then also just the community is everyone's a weather enthusiast, which just makes my job so much more fun. Because anytime I go out to eat, anytime I go to a restaurant, everybody wants to talk about the weather. And I'm like, everybody loves the weather just as much as I do. And so it's an amazing community to serve. And it's just the most generous. The people of Alabama, I mean, in time of need for locals, not locals, anybody. If you needed something, the people of Alabama are there for you in a heartbeat. And I just think it's such an amazing community. So I've been really fortunate to say that I am still at my first job. And they've kept me this long. So it must be something good, right?
Yeah, you must be doing something right. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so Amanda, you've been there for, you said 9 years?
It'll be 9 years this summer, yeah.
Okay, so almost a decade, almost 10 years. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? I'm just curious.
That's the biggest question I think people ask me, like, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? And when you do TV, there's usually like the people who go, I want to get back to my hometown station. I want to get to a top 10 market. I want to go national. My goal has just always been, I want to be happy. Now, granted, if you would have asked me when I was 22, and you said, hey, Amanda, you're moving to Montgomery, Alabama. You think you're going to be there in 9 years? I'd be like, absolutely not. I'm going to go. I'm going to try it. And I mean, we'll see how it is. And that will just be my launching pad to wherever I go. But I've been really happy with the job that I work, the people I work with, the community that I serve. So, I mean, there's really no downside. So as long as I continue to be happy and the weather in Alabama continues to, you know, be as interesting and keep us on our toes as much as possible. But hopefully in a decade, I'll be happy doing what I do now on TV. I get asked that a lot. What would you do if you weren't on TV? And I'm like, I don't know. And I don't want to find out because I don't know what the prospects are, but I don't want to find out.
Wow, so interesting. Okay, so part of being, you mentioned a lot about the community. How important is community to you just in your day to day? Is that what really sparked your interest and even your love for Montgomery, Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, and it's such an important part of just everyday life, whether it's what we do as broadcast meteorologists or as people who work at TV stations. I was very much at a young age taught by my mother, you know, like money can help a lot of people, but your time sometimes will be more valuable to people in need than any dollar amount that you can give them. So I learned that at a really young, crucial age, that sometimes the value you can give to people doesn't have to be with a check that you write. And so I feel like the community continues to prove that to me, and it just drives me to continue to want to prove that back to them, that the service that I provide as a forecast, whether it's a sunny and 75 day or an active day where there's a potential threat of tornadoes or tropical systems, even winter weather, if I can be a source of information for people that helps protect them, their property, their loved ones, their four-legged loved ones as well. I'm a dog mom, so I'm all here for keeping the four-legged furry friends safe too. It just, I mean, when the community pours into you, it's so much easier to be able to pour and give everything from yourself to them. It just makes it so much more rewarding, honestly, in the end.
Oh, I love that. And you know that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
So if they're filling back up, you have more to give out. I love
Exactly.
that. Okay, that's great. So what advice do you have for, it could be about life in general, but particularly a meteorologist or someone that has aspirations to go into a weather career field? What advice do you have for them pursuing something that they love?
So much advice. How much time do I got? Let's see.
30 seconds.
When people tell you that your worth comes from anything other than you, they're lying. What other people say about you is none of your business. You have to understand that your worth comes from within. People are going to love you, but you could be the juiciest, ripest peach, and there are still people out there who don't like peaches. Unfortunately, I'm one of them. I'm sorry. It's not my thing. No offense to peaches. You're great, but they're not my jam. So just remember where your worth comes from at the end of the day. We love people who pour into us, but at the end of the day, you got to love yourself first before anybody else can love you.
I love it. Way to finish it out, Amanda. We enjoyed having you here on First Alert Weather Extra, and we hope all the best in the next 10 years of your life.
Perfect.
We don't know where you're gonna be.
We'll check back in 10 years and we'll see where both of us are at.
All right,
we'll do this again.
We're down with that 100%. Thanks for joining us, Amanda.
Thank you.
Snaps for Amanda on that one. We love that. I hope you guys are all feeling motivated after that interview as we go into your Friday evening. Coming up next on First Alert Weather Extra, Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt gives us a look at that super 7-day forecast, and I'll take you beyond the 7-day. And of course, it's Friday. We got a weird animal story. We'll be right back.
Does your bathtub look like this? Are you constantly cleaning your shower, but the stains and discoloration just won't go away? Or maybe you're just hoping to freshen up your bathroom with something new and modern. If this is you, you may be planning on attending one of the local home shows. Well, stay tuned. Today I'm joined by Kirsten with a special announcement that's going to make the whole project easier and more affordable. Kirsten.
So Joe, we know that people are busier than ever right now. The last thing they want to do is spend hours of time on the weekend fighting traffic and all the long lines at the home shows. Well, to save time, folks should give us a call right now and get this limited time offer. We're taking 20% off all shower and bath projects, and we're offering some amazing financing. It's 12 months of no payments and no interest. That means you don't need to pay a penny on your project until an entire year after your installation is complete.
So you're saying if I start my project now, I don't have to put any money down, I get 20% off the entire project, and you're offering no payments, no interest financing for a full year. That's pretty incredible.
It really is. We understand that most people have a long list of renovations that they want to do around the house, so we're making it easier than ever to knock out that shower project right now.
That's fantastic. Well, Kirsten, how else are you making this whole project easy?
So Joe, people's biggest fear when doing a project like this is picking out something they're not going to be happy with. Well, we eliminate that fear by bringing the home show to you. When you give us a call, we'll send one of our shower and bath experts out for a free in-home design consultation. They'll bring an iPad and a sample kit to let you design the shower or bath of your dreams. Before the appointment is over, you'll see what the new shower will look like, eliminating all of the guesswork out of the project.
Kirsten, thanks. Folks, call the number on your screen right now to speak with a West Shore Home representative and to receive this limited time offer. Call in now to get 20% off your shower or bath project. Plus, they're doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. That means you don't need to make your first payment until 12 months after your installation is complete. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Rainy night on the way, and a lot of that wet weather now pushing in around Birmingham. Mostly light rain that we're tracking, but there's some indications that overnight and into tomorrow we could have some heavier pockets of rain. Could end up with over 2 inches of rain, some areas to the south before this is all over with. But the wet weather, as you can see now, pushing in towards Birmingham, Springville, and now Gadsden. Wet weather's getting close. We had some pockets of heavier rain down in Nacusa County. This is where it's more unstable, where we have 70s to the south. And by the way, where it's raining here to the west, we have temperatures in the 40s. So it is quite chilly in those areas to the north and west. So we got rain and colder temperatures to talk about as we go into Easter weekend. So here's a look at the forecast for tonight. The radar data showing us covered up here. There's 9 o'clock. We'll take it past midnight. There's early morning hours, 3 a.m., some good sleeping weather, maybe a few embedded rumbles, but no worries about severe weather. We don't have to worry about pulling an all-nighter watching this weather tonight. It's just going to be a lot of rain and rumbles. There's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We wake up and you can see how the data is painting some heavier rain. If we do get some embedded storms, we'll have those higher rainfall rates, and that's when we could end up with maybe over 2 inches in a few spots there. But by 10 a.m., still showing a lot of rain tomorrow. So the first half of the day is going to be a washout, but afternoon, there's the chance. You can see there the rain tapering off. I still think after 2 o'clock for areas in East Alabama, but in that 1 to 3 o'clock time frame along and west of Interstate 65, the rain will be tapering off. But look at temperatures at 4 o'clock, only showing 51 here in Anniston, so it's going to be cold out there as this moves across the state. And even after the rain ends, plan for a cold, dreary, and kind of a drizzly setup there as that rain comes to an end during the afternoon. But hopefully we'll have a little time to squeeze in an Easter egg hunt, but not the best day. Sunday's the day when we really enjoy some nice improvements. We still expect some sunshine for Sunday, starting out in the 40s there for Sunday morning and Sunday night. You can see we dropped to 46 degrees, and then the afternoon temperatures rising into the 60s. Sunrise at 6:24 Sunday morning, and we'll see twilight beginning right around 6 o'clock for those sunrise services out there. But it is going to be cold, so bundle up. It's certainly been cold many times there on Easter morning, and plan for that. Monday and Tuesday looks dry into next week. Most of Wednesday will be okay, but what's going to happen here next week, we're seeing what we call an upper level low developing here down over the Gulf of Mexico, and both the global deterministic data is on board with this lifting to the north here, bringing some clouds, bringing some rain. We won't get a severe weather threat in this kind of setup, but what this will bring us likely, if this continues to hold true, and check in over the weekend as we fine-tune the forecast, but it looks like Thursday and Friday with this kind of setup, it'll hold those temperatures down, so we'll likely see some cooler than average temperatures later in the week. Good chance of rain and a lot of clouds. So that's what we're going to be tracking there going into the day on Thursday. And meteorologist Lauren Linehan gave us the first alert on that system as we were talking about beyond the 7-day forecast. But now that that's getting more into view there, Lauren, it looks like more of a reality that we could see a little bit of rain. And you know, one thing, Lauren, that's kind of interesting, even though we catch a break, it looks like the rain really doesn't completely get out of South Alabama here over the next several days.
Yeah, that's right, Wes. I mean, here in central North Alabama, we're going to be doing better than our neighbors to the south, who certainly will be getting excessive rainfall. But as far as that rainfall, hey, it's going to cool us down for the weekend. Still, though, it looks like the dominant temperature pattern across the eastern two-thirds of the U.S. is going to be supporting above average temperatures 6 to 10 days from now. So what could that look like? Well, our average high this time of the year is right around 73 degrees. So right now it's looking a little bit warmer as we get into late next week, but we could see another cool down once we get past next weekend. So remember, that was a temperature outlook for 6 to 10 days. Beyond that, it could be getting cooler. So looking warmer towards the end of the next week, but then we could see another cool down going past next weekend as we get into the latter half of April. we'll have to watch that. If we do have a cool down, we always want to look out for those frost concerns that you can get early in spring. But as far as that rainfall outlook, as Wes was mentioning, it looks like the southern half of Alabama would be more under the gun for some above average rainfall. So as we look at any systems that could be coming our way, here we are next weekend showing the remnants of that low potentially moving inland and maybe bringing some lingering showers on Saturday before the possibility of more rain going towards the latter half of next weekend, and then potentially drying out as we get into the 17th, 18th, 19th that week going past next weekend. So we'll be watching this closely. Meanwhile, we're talking about here in the lower 48. Let's take a turn to Alaska. A family up there usually leaves their door cracked so their dog Jesse can come in from the cold when he's ready. But a couple of days ago, Jesse brought in a friend, a very large friend, who happened to be hungry. Can't blame him. Dave Allgood has more on this unexpected visitor.
This is Jesse, Barb's dog.
Regular morning, I let the dog outside and I never shut the door all the way so that he can come back in himself.
And Jesse did come back in, but he wasn't alone.
I think I stared at it for 3 or 4 seconds before it really dawned on me, yes, he's in the house.
Jesse, he had brought a friend.
The husband thought he was dreaming.
A really, really big friend.
He came walking into the living room. I stood up, took about 2 steps, and realized there was a huge moose in my house that had just followed Jesse in.
Let me repeat that in case you missed it. A moose in my house.
So I'm hollering, there's a moose in the house.
A normal reaction. The moose wanted the green stuff.
He was starting to munch on all of the salad bar plants that I have in this back atrium room.
Fresh veggies in an otherwise snowy Alaska town.
That moose didn't have a care in the world. He was just enjoying his salad bar.
So Barb called the police. They asked if she had a chair to put in the hallway to keep the moose at bay.
Well, yeah, I have 4 kitchen chairs, but none of them are 6 feet tall that he couldn't get over. So I don't know what good that would do. So we didn't put a chair down.
Yeah, that's like throwing a toothpick at a giant or something, right?
Right.
So one officer reaching across the kitchen sink.
And so he just stuck the taser about 1 foot away from the moose just for the noise.
The munching moose, he wasn't tased or fazed by the noise.
And then the other officer hollered, and then he got a little bit startled. And
good old yelling. The moose did have a little trouble turning around.
But on his way out, he did manage to get about a 2-foot vine in my plant to take to go.
And as to why the moose came in, Barb says Jesse, he may have been a bit lonely.
What'd you tell me when I called you? Jesse just wanted a friend? He wanted Bullwinkle?
Yeah, he wanted to have a sleepover and dinner with his friend Bullwinkle.
So after about 25 minutes, Bullwinkle made it out, but the salad bar was calling his name.
Oh, Lord, he's coming back.
He might kick out that
He knows,
window.
I know. The door's shut, but I hope you don't kick it open. It's about 2 feet from me right now.
The joys of living in Alaska.
Did you have a little talk with Jesse? Did you do?
Yes, we did. We told him that he has to ask first before he invites company in.
And that's...
No, go away. You cannot come in my door.
The All Good News.
As you might imagine, the Nichols say their door will not be left open anymore. From now on, Jesse will just have to wait for Barbara to open the door. And if you're wondering, yes, I did write that caption you saw on your screen. Thank you. I'll be here all night. So I'm sure most of you are headed out now. You're like, I can't take this. This is rough. So let's get a look at that Super 7-day forecast, which probably for tomorrow a little unamusing. Just throw one more in there. Once we get past tomorrow morning, rain will be tapering off, setting us up for some dry weather on Easter Sunday. And it really is going to be cooler this weekend. Now we'll get a touch warmer for any Easter egg hunts on Easter Sunday afternoon. But tomorrow, a lot of us going to be in the 50s and then 40s on Sunday. We'll keep 40s in the forecast through at least Tuesday of next week. Tracking some rain by this time again next week. But you can get the latest on the forecast tonight on First at 9 with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Join us back here on Weather Extra next week, Monday at 6:30. And hope you have a nice and happy Friday evening.